Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. What was Freddie Mercury talking about? Look up to the skies and see what? I don't know. But that leads me to something. What is reality and what is the fantasy? And what is fantasy? And is it reality? And is it the same thing? And is reality a fantasy or is a fantasy reality? I'm not really sure. But I've come to the conclusion that either fantasy is reality or reality is just a fantasy. Which, if fantasy is reality, then reality being just a fantasy would be just as good as being a real reality. Right? What if I'm the only person in the world? Am I the only person in the world? Because, from where I am right now, the whole universe revolves around me. You know what the center of the universe is? Me. Everywhere I look, I'm in the middle of it. I'm in the middle of this house, in the center of this universe. How'd that happen? How did I get to be just me? Am I really the only thing that exists? Or do you exist? Okay. Honestly though, we all have this idea of what reality is, like the real life. We know what the real life is, right? Because you go to sleep, you have dreams. And then you wake up and that's reality. Like, have you ever had a bad dream and you're like, you know what? This seems kind of real, and you're like in your dream and like something horrible happens, and then when you wake up you're like all relieved and you're like, oh good, that wasn't real life. But what's the difference between real life and not real life? What's the difference? I mean, is there really that much of a difference? That might sound like a stupid question, but really the only difference that I've found is that in reality it always follows the same chronological order. Usually, like if I eat these SpongeBob pirate booties, like say I ate half the bag of SpongeBob pirate booty, the next day there'd still be this SpongeBob pirate booty. If I was just dreaming about SpongeBob pirate booty, I might like eat it all and then it might magically fill up again. Does that ever happen? Or like when you're dreaming something, like when in real life people are usually stay the same person. Like you talk to somebody and they stay that person like the whole time, right? You don't see people just change into somebody else. But if you're dreaming something, sometimes the people change into somebody else randomly. It seems like totally normal. Have you ever done that? Have you ever had a dream and the person like just changes into somebody else? That always happens to me. People in my dreams are always like shape-shifting to somebody else, which is really annoying, but I don't know. Maybe it's not that annoying. Anyway, speaking of dreams, this is really weird. Once upon a time, this is true, this is in real life. Once upon a time, when I was in 9th grade, I took the bus to school every morning. And it was weird because I had this dream one night that I woke up and I went to the bus stop and the bus never came and then I missed the bus. And so I looked at the clock in my dream and it was 6:27 and the bus left. And I wasn't supposed to catch the bus till 6:30. And so I woke up that morning and I told my mom, I said, you know what, Mom? I had this dream that I missed the bus. And so I got to really try to get ready on time. And she's like, you had a dream that you missed the bus? And I said, yeah, why? And she said, I had a dream that you missed the bus. And I was like, oh my gosh, you had a dream that I missed the bus? And I had a dream that I missed the bus? And she said, yeah. And she said, and there was a clock in the dream. And I said, I had a clock in my dream too. And she said, what was the time on the clock? And I said, 6:27. And she said, yeah, that's it. I had a dream about the bus coming, and it was only 6:27 on the clock, and I was like, oh my God, that is like so weird. So anyway, I mean, that's pretty random. That's like, that doesn't seem like reality, right? That seems like fake. That seems totally fake, but that totally happened. We both had the same dream. Totally real, totally happened. And then it gets even weirder. It gets even weirder, if that's even possible. But here's what happened next. And I swear, this is like a totally true story. I would not lie about this. If I was lying, I would tell you because I'm not a good liar. Anyway, this is what happened next. I go out to the bus stop, and you know the bus is supposed to be there at 6:30. So we go out to the bus stop, and all the other kids are there, and all the other kids are waiting for the bus. And we stand there. We stand there, and we stand there, and we stand there, and we stand there. And guess what? The bus is like way late or something, because the bus is like never coming. It's like way past 6:30. It's like 10 minutes past 6:30. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is like so weird. We all are standing here and the bus isn't coming. Like, what are we missing here? So I have to go home, and I'm like, Mom, the bus never came. This is just so weird. And so she calls the school, and they said, well, actually, the bus did come, but it got there too early. Oh my God, the bus came and it got there too early. So you know what that means? It means I missed the bus, and so did everybody else. And the bus came too early, just like in my dream where it was 6:27. I mean, I don't know what time the actual bus came, but in my dream, the bus came too early and I missed it. In real life, the bus came too early and I missed it. Now, what the hell is that about? Obviously, that's saying that, you know, reality really isn't that real. Or maybe it is. Or maybe fantasy is real. So, did I have the dream first, and then the dream caused reality to be like that? Or is reality just kind of fake? I'm not really sure, because it seems like it might be fake. I mean, it seems like all signs point to fake, F-A-K-E, just like the Matrix, only not as cool as the Matrix, because, you know, in the Matrix, like, there really was a reality, right? There really was a reality. He just woke up and then he was in the reality. But here, I think maybe the reality is fake, but maybe there's not a real reality. Maybe everything's just fake. Or maybe the fakeness of reality is not even fake at all. Maybe it's real, and maybe it's just weird, and maybe it's just not what we think it is, but maybe it's still reality. Like, maybe somehow your brain like controls it, or maybe it controls your brain. Either way you think, it's really weird, because, you know, did you ever hear that that philosophy that Oprah was like pushing really hard, like a few years back? It got really popular. It was called The Secret, and there was a book and there was a DVD, and everybody was like, wow, the secret is the secret of everything. If you think stuff and you think positive, then you're gonna get like you're gonna get everything you want in life. So like the philosophy was that if you had, you know, if you kept, like, if you printed out a picture of like some mansion or something, like say you really wanted to be rich and have a mansion, well, you could print out pictures of mansions and like all these things that you wanted, and then you could like put it on your wall or just look at it every day or do whatever. And the more you thought about that stuff, the more you would make it real. And so, you know, people were all saying, yeah, I did this, and it became real. And then people were saying if you have negative thoughts, it would maybe like make negative things happen. But I think what the whole gist was that the negative thoughts weren't as powerful as the positive thoughts. So, you know, if you accidentally had a negative thought, like, it wouldn't kill you or anything, but you might not get everything you wanted. So, I don't know. I never really bought into that stuff. I mean, before it got so popular, I kind of thought to myself that maybe that's how the world worked. But then once it got popular, I was just like, I can't follow things that get popular, because I have to be, you know, I have to be the weird one, right? But that is kind of odd that I thought of it first and then it got popular. Like, I thought of that theory and then all of a sudden it's on Oprah. Well, you know, maybe that was my whole idea. Maybe what I thought made that into reality, and now Oprah was talking about it, right? That totally seems more reasonable, right? So what I'm wondering is like, why don't I have everything that I want? Like, what am I doing wrong? You know, like, if I could just imagine things up that I wanted, why don't I have everything that I want? That's not fair. Why doesn't the secret work for me? It was my whole theory. All I get to do is miss the bus. That's not fair. I don't get anything cool. You know, I have a pretty good life. I have a roof over my head and stuff, and I have two boys that I adore. But I mean, I'm not exactly like really cool or anything. I'm just me. And so if I could make reality the way I wanted, like, wouldn't I be the awesomest? Like, I mean, the whole freaking universe revolves around me. Shouldn't that count for something? I mean, I don't even know why I'm wasting my time making these YouTube videos for everybody to watch because y'all can't even see them because y'all aren't even real. Or are you? Because maybe I'm not even real. Maybe you're the only one that's real. Oh my gosh, that's like so crazy because I feel like I'm real, right? Do you feel like you're real? Are you watching this video and feel like you're real? But if the universe revolves around me and I'm the center of it all, then how could there be anybody else? Doesn't make any sense unless you're me. Maybe you're me and I'm you. That seems to make a lot of sense, right? Or maybe not. So, okay, let's forget all about this weird stuff and let's just talk about other kinds of fantasies. Like, have you ever like met somebody and you have a crush on them and you're like, oh my god, they're so hot. I really like this person, and like, you don't know them that well yet, but you kind of do. And so you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna get to know this person. I'm gonna really like this person. And so you start thinking about it and you get all excited and get all butterflies and stuff, and you really like them. And so you start imagining like all these scenarios. Like you imagine yourself like, going on a vacation with this person or marrying this person or like, I don't know, whatever you do when you fantasize about people. Okay? Whatever you do, whatever your pervy fantasies are, like let's say you just fantasize everything. And you're like, wow, this is like the awesomest person in the world. Well, you know what? You're not really falling in love with that person. What you're doing is you're falling in love with whatever's up here in your head that you think that person is and what you want that person to be. But what that person actually is isn't what you think it is. But you might fall for that person and develop all these feelings for this person. And then once you're around them a little bit more, maybe they don't end up like that. Maybe they suck. Maybe they're mean. Maybe they're a bastard. Maybe they're a bitch. Who knows? But, whatever you thought up, that's what you fell in love with. You really didn't fall in love with that person. So let's say that person like stands you up or something and like you're supposed to go out with them one day and they're like, I have something else to do, and like they're really lying because they're really going out with somebody else, imagine whatever scenario you want. But just say that this person doesn't turn out to be the person of your dreams that you thought they were. And so you get heartbroken. But are you heartbroken because that person broke your heart? Or are you heartbroken because you broke your own heart? Because you're the one that sat there and imagined all that shit up in the first place, right? So you broke your own heart. You can't even blame that person for breaking your heart. Like, yeah, maybe they're stupid, but you weren't actually in love with them. You were in love with your own brain. So if that's true, if you can fall in love with your own brain, then what's the point in falling in love with another person? Like, you might as well just have a robot companion that you can like, make do whatever you want to, and they're never gonna stand you up because you own them because they're a robot, right? So that's something to think about. Reality and fantasy can sometimes sort of overlap itself and confuse you, right? It does to me. I don't know how many times I've fallen in love with my own mind, honestly. Or you can get mad at somebody not because they did anything wrong, but because you imagine them being a bastard. That happens to me too. But it's weird. Or sometimes people get mad at me when I didn't do anything because something they imagined in their own mind, like they thought I was thinking something, or they put words into my mouth, or they assumed something, and I didn't do anything. And so they got mad at me for something I didn't do, but really they were mad at something in their own brain, their own stupid brain. So, yeah. What else can I say about this subject? Fantasy, reality. Oh, the zone. Have you ever been in what I call the zone? This happens to me a lot, and I'll say, oh my God, I'm in the zone. Like one time, it's sort of like the dream about the bus. Like one time I had to go to this museum, and it was called, I think it was called the Museum of Natural History, and it was in Virginia. So I just go to Google, and I just type in the Museum of Natural History. Like I don't say Virginia. I just Googled that. And the first thing that came up was like this really cool museum, but it was like um, part of the Smithsonian or something in New York, or I don't even know what it was, but it was some really high end. It was the New York one, is what it was. Some museum in New York. And so after that, I'm like, oh crap, that's not the museum I get to go to. I just get to go to some littler museum. But that same day, somebody called me on the phone and said, hey, you want to go to New York? Because I think we should go to this museum. And it was the same museum that I had just accidentally seen on the internet. Now, how weird is that? Why would somebody randomly, um, ask me that? And so then this one day, I was doing something else. I was like, my kids, we have pet rats, and my kids were like giving them a bath, and they were swimming, and I was like, I don't know if they like that. So I was like Googling like rats and swimming, and then I heard all these like people, like there were all these people saying like, oh, rats, haha, they swim up the toilet. Like there was like some urban legend or something that rats could like get in the sewers and like swim through and like come up in people's toilets, and like there were people talking about that online. I was like, yeah, right. Rats can't do that. So, that'd be weird though if that really happened. Like if you open your toilet and there was a rat, right? So anyway, after that happened, somebody the same day that happened, somebody gave us a present because they knew we had rats. And the present was this is so random. Like I've never seen one of these things before. But they gave us this present, and it was this toilet seat cover. It was like this stick-on toilet seat cover, and it was a rat. It was all these rats coming out of a toilet. So you're supposed to like put it on top of your toilet, so when somebody walks in the bathroom, they say, "Oh, there's rats coming out of the toilet." So I thought that was really random that the same day I Googled about rats and found out that there were these urban legends of them coming in the toilet, coming out of the toilet, that somebody gave me a toilet seat cover with rats coming out of the toilet. I mean, it's almost like reality is like owned by like some corporation, and they're advertising to me. Like, like when you go on the internet and you search for something on Google, and then all these ads start coming up of what you search for because it's like they're watching you. It's like that, only it's real life. So is this reality, or is this Google reality? I bet Google owns reality, and they're the ones making that stuff happen. I mean, how else would you do it? I mean, somebody owns reality. Is it me? I don't think so. Because if it was, I wouldn't be so confused about it. So, yeah, that's what I have to say for today, is that if I had to bet on it, I'd say reality wasn't exactly what we think it is. I'm going to stop short of saying it's fake, but it's something weird. It's something that we don't know. It's something that we don't understand, but we think we do. So yeah, press like on this video because you know you liked it, and because I'm controlling your reality, and I'm going to make you like this video, and I'm going to make you comment on this video, and you're going to say something nice, and you're not going to be a troll, and you're going to subscribe if you haven't already, because I control this. This is my universe. I own this. So goodbye, and I hope you liked it. See ya!